Jess.
Oh, go ahead. No, I just
No,
want
go
to
ahead.
that kind of represents too that whole thing, the whole imagery with the temple instruments, and then the so you get at the beginning, you have the Day of Atonement imagery right before the tribulation, where the angel waves the incense and then throws it at the earth, and then the tribulation begins right after that. And so then it that kind of gets into the imagery of the temple instruments, and how like it goes backwards out from the inside of the temple outward, almost like an imagery of Yahweh coming out to bring the judgment upon the earth. And every single aspect of the temple instruments are actually in the destruction itself, in each one in order. And so it's like kind of like the purpose of the instrument is now changed into the destruction of man through the instrument in a way. So it's kind of that reversal there as well with the seals. Same, very similar.
Yeah, that's awesome because so in the car today when I was driving to my appointment, I heard him say, look up Death Rider and tell me what does it mean. So that's kind of how the Lord led us to Exodus today. And he was showing us that Exodus is starting backwards. So like when, the children die in Exodus, he's actually taking the children out and then darkness falls. And that matches all the messages he's been giving me because he's been saying once the bride goes up, darkness falls. So it's all kind of correlating with the plagues of what's going on, and that has to do with the EMP and everything, and that's what the rapture kind of brings on the darkness. And then also it's like what Jess was talking about with the pentacle and everything. The Lord gave me a message on this, and I'll just read a tiny bit of it really quick, and then I'll explain what he's trying to say there. Hold on. So it was June 4th message, and he said, the disaster that is coming no man has seen. The pentacle of the earth's atmosphere is chopping at the blocks. It's going to fall in. When the earth shakes and the fault line breaks, disaster and chaos commence, and Alaskan finances will be hindered. He said, as part of the enemy's plan, they are using their witchcraft and sorcery to create demonic devices backed by harps, man-made devices used to create chaos and destruction, and I'm allowing this because my judgment is coming. Satellite 512 will be a part of the destruction. A portal used by CERN to create radioactive waves, and Black Death will be the new virus. It's all coming after Harpazo. So what she was saying is the seal, it's almost like a seal covering the entire earth. And when God said he's blocking the satellites, it's not actually like a physical satellite. It's like a portal from them getting in. So once the bride goes up, that portal is no longer blocked, which is why he says that there'll be demons walking the earth. Like in one of my messages, he said, talks about how the demons and the Nephilim will be walking on the earth and how Antarctica's mysteries will be revealed, because he's showing us that it all goes back to the Garden of Eden and where it begins, the symbolism of it, the spirit, the physical, all of that stuff has to do with the mysteries. Like every scary movie you'll ever see that's going to be in the Great Tribulation all goes back to Antarctica. He's talking about the mysteries being revealed. And then he was also showing us the dates. So he told me that the months have been changed. So he started the prophecies from the end to the beginning, starting December 30th. Well, it started out showing the end of the world in the very beginning of December 30th prophecy and so on. Then he showed me that the months are going backwards now because he's the beginning, the end, the Alpha and the Omega. So now 12 is 1, November's 2. So November is like a fractal. It's kind of mirroring February 15th, which also mirrors the Midnight Cry, which is what Jess talked about, how she found that mathematically perfect with 25.6, which mirrors the Midnight Cry. So it's like the Lord is almost doing a foreshadow of events with the Exodus. He's going to show you what it's going to be like in the Great Tribulation, but he's showing it within those 10 days. The 10 days is in Matthew when it talks about tribulation. It's not the Great Tribulation. It's actually just talking about suffering, because he showed me there's going to be pre-wrath. He takes the 12 and the children, he takes the bride, and then repenters start, meaning that pre-wrath starts of destruction, almost like the pre-wrath of the Egypt plague. It's all going to be like that. Now, I don't know the exact plagues he's using because I feel like he's using some differences, with the darkness being an EMP. I don't know, but I just know that he's leading us that way, which is also leading us to the dates, because if he's mirroring February, if it's this year, now for some reason, if God has more plans and more revelations and it goes into next year, I don't think it will be next year. I feel like it has to be this year. But if he is revealing it for next year, then it's possible the months start over again with the real February 15th. But right now we're looking at this year, and we're looking at it as February 15th could be November 15th, because he talks about really quick in the messages for February 15th. He says, in many messages, I have a bunch, let me just, it's easier just to pull them up really quick this way. Let me go to my notes so I can do a.
Jess, if you want to go ahead and say whatever, if you need to say something while she looks up.
Yeah, I wanted to just quickly comment on just back what you were saying about that message with the pentacle of the earth. I know people, got really upset. It sounds like pentacle of the earth. It almost sounds like God's creating the earth with a pentacle. Why would he have the pentacle? So I think it's real. This is why this whole thing about the Satanist stuff is really important, because it's almost like it gives that whole message. It's very detailed and we won't get too into it, but overall it gives a picture of almost like a movie's about to start, or a musical, and the curtains fly open, and that's kind of like the picture of the veil. And so then once the restrainer is removed, these, you can think of Satanists, or whatever, Satan himself, or, they're going to be able to do all their stuff, their incantations, their witchcraft or whatever, and kind of like remove this pentacle. So the pentacle, again, it represents the door, it represents protection, but it also represents opening up, to another realm. And so they're going to be able to finally get through that. It's being blocked right now by the restrainer, and so you can kind of get a whole new picture about what the restrainer being removed really is. And so it's literally like, just like it's going to be a massive version of what I was saying earlier, with them conjuring up demons in a small pentagram in the middle of nowhere, America. It's going to be on a mass scale. It's going to be the entire earth. It's going to be like, just the whole thing's open. The whole thing's busted open. So
yeah, go ahead, Kassi.
I was just gonna say, really quick too, one of the things that Jess has been talking about is the Mazzaroth, and how if you've got the 12, the 3, the 6, and the 9, and it makes a cross. Well, and then if you turn it and you flip it or whatever on its mirror image, and it shows an upside down cross. So as an example, the whole concept of the Mazzaroth, she's finding the Mazzaroth itself is essentially a portal, and she can go into that maybe in a minute. In that he gave me revelation that it also is a seal. So a seal, like something that holds something down, holds it together, what have you. And so whenever the stars and the sun and the moon and all of those things fall, then it's like that as a Mazzaroth or what have you will be a seal removed, or the veil removed. So it's kind of synonymous. And so at that point, that's when things turn upside down, right? And so when he talks about the constellations turning upside down, which he said so many times, it's imagery of the veil being removed, the Holy Spirit being removed, and literally everything being allowed to fully become, satanic in that way, because the full reign at that point is given to the God of this earth, right, for a short time. Well, in the same thing, he was showing us with numbers. So when he was talking about 2:15 and then the 5:12 satellite, which I'm going to let Jess go into here in a little bit, so 5:12 is the direct mirror image backwards of the 2:15. And so that is yet another way he was saying that like the 2:15 is his holy day, it's the beginning, and then 5:12 is the end.